God wanted Jacob to see for himself who he really is. That's the only way he could be freed and restore him. So God changes Jacob's name to Israel. And Israel means one who has strived with God. And he promised Jacob, as he promised his grandfather Abraham, that I will bless all your ancestors and I will build a kingdom through your name. Second person in the story, which I find more fascinating, is a girl named Leah. Leah is Jacob's first wife. And just like Jacob, she is ravaged by the idolatry of romantic love. She is also ravaged by the same plague. Leah is the oldest daughter, and as I said, the narrator gives us one important detail. She's not very pretty. As a matter of fact, Leah is not as pretty as Rachel. And Leah lived in the shadow of her sister, who was completely stunning. Now, I guess I'm speaking to the younger sisters in the room today, or the younger brothers. Have you ever had to live under the shadow of your sister or brother? Have you ever had to try to follow in their footsteps and realize your feet don't fit their shoe size? So we all can sympathize with Leah, can't we? I sympathize for my younger brother. Because, people say all types of great things about me and they always love me. And my brother has to hear about this and somehow try to live up to this standard. So she was always in the shadow of Rachel. And you know what? As a result, her father, this is kind of sad. As a result, her father, Laban, right? Her pops, knew how ugly she was and understood that no man would marry her. And therefore, he could make no economical gain, no financial gain from her. So what does he do? He tricks Jacob. That's why he tricked Jacob, because he knew nobody was going to marry Leah. So he had to use Rachel as a bait and 2-for-1 special. Yeah, Laban knew that. And so Jacob worked an extra 7 years. Here's Leah's heartache, okay? Stay with me here. Leah was the girl nobody wanted. Okay, I don't know if you ever feel this way, but Leah was the girl nobody wanted. The daughter whom her father did not want was now a wife whom her husband did not want. Because the text says Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah. I have 2 friends. I won't say their name out of discretion, but they are lifelong friends. And just like Jacob and Esau, the younger sister actually lives above the older sister. The older sister has to follow in the footsteps of the younger sister. Do you know how demoralizing that is as an older sister or older sibling, to have to live under the shadow of your little sister? And she lives like that because her younger sister is smarter, way prettier, and popular. And so the younger sister started clubbing first, started going out first, started getting all the attention of the guys first. And you know what happened to this older sister? One day she says, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of being a straight-A student. I'm sick of pleasing my mom and dad. I'm sick of being a nerd. I'm sick of just having it all together. And she let it all go. And now she lives a mess. And I still pray for these 2 sisters very often. See, the common ground between Jacob and Leah is this. Leah had a hollow heart, just as big as Jacob. And you remember how Jacob tried to fill his hollow heart? How did Jacob try to fill his hollow heart? He tried to win the love of Rachel. So, conversely, here's Leah, ironically, doing the same thing. But her object of affection is Jacob. She keeps popping out babies, hoping that the first, second, third baby would charm, would please her husband so much that finally Jacob would say, I love you just as much as Rachel, or not even I love you just as much. I love you, period. That's all she wanted. That's all she wanted. And she set her heart's hope on getting Jacob's love. I'm not going to read the passage over again, but basically what Leah was saying every time she had a baby was she was setting all her hopes and dreams on her husband. She said in her heart, if I have babies and sons, then my husband will grow to love me, and then finally my unhappy life will be fixed. Let me talk to you guys just for a real quick second. Some of us have this object of idolatry or the object of affection. That you think that if you get married or you find somebody or you get this career, the things that I've always been talking about in my past sermons, that you think that can really fix you. Because everybody in this room knows we're broken. We're broken. Something's wrong with us. Something is devastatingly wrong with Byung Ham. I hate to speak in third person, but something is really wrong with me. Because I thirst by the minute. I thirst by the minute. And Leah and Jacob both believed that this person, whether it was Rachel or Jacob, would satisfy their inner longings. But it was not working. It was not working. You know, some of us at this point of the story, you may wonder, what's the point of this story? How does this story inspire me to serve God? How does this story inspire me or bless me to love Jesus Christ? Where are all the heroes in this story? Who am I supposed to copy and emulate? What is the moral of this pathetic story? I want to read a quote by Tim Keller, and I know I'm kind of just using our mind here for a second, but I want to help you see how the Bible is organized. It's not a bunch of different episodes like sitcoms, okay? Like you watch one episode, it has a happy ending, and then you go to the next episode. The Bible doesn't work like that, okay? It's not chicken soup for the soul. It doesn't work like that. Here's a quote by Tim Keller, who helps us understand this story as well as all the stories and the interconnectedness, how they all interconnect. He says, the reason for our confusion, why we read this story like, oh, what's the point? How does it matter to me? The reason for our confusion is that we usually read the Bible as a series of disconnected stories, disconnected stories for a moral for how we should live our lives. It is not. Rather, the Bible comprises of one single story telling us how the human race got into its present condition and how God put things right. So as I close today, what can we learn from this story? As we all know, everywhere in the Bible, it comes back to Jesus. Even this story. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, the last baby that Leah has, she names him Judah. And when she talks about Judah, she says, with this baby, I will praise God. And the text says, then she ceased to bear any more children. Do you know what that signifies? She didn't cry out for Jacob's love anymore because she had the love of Jesus. Or in this time, Yahweh. She had the love of the Lord. So she ceased having children. She closed her womb. And she gave that baby not as a way to accrue Jacob's love, but as an offering to the Lord. What we can learn in this story is that the common thread in life is cosmic disappointment. We are living under the tyranny of cosmic disappointment. You know how Jacob slept with Leah thinking it was Rachel? That's the story of my life. That's the story of your life. You sleep with Leah and you think it's Rachel.